Okay, we know the draft is Thursday, and we're probably gonna do a draft show on Wednesday. Leading up to the draft because we got a lot of ground to cover as far as the draft. We have not talked about the draft at all on
Right.
this show, and I'm guessing we're gonna do that on Wednesday. But let's talk about this right here because the word on the street, I'm a suspect. The word on the street is that the Panthers seem to be locking in on Bryce Young. And, they've been throwing up a lot of smoke signs, right? Oh, the GM, I like Bryce Young. Nah, Frank Wright, I like CJ Stroud, right? I like Anthony Richardson. Trying to throw everybody off, right? Everybody. But the question here, would the Panthers be making a mistake gambling on Bryce Young's, upside despite height? And whoever want to take this
Yeah.
mic.
Well, I'll jump on there.
Okay.
Listen, man, when it comes down to the NFL draft and you got quarterbacks in the forefront of that, is careers is on the line. You know what I mean? GM careers on the line, the head coach is on the line. Like, it's so much that got to go into these quarterbacks, right? We talking about Peyton Manning and Ryan Leaf. I don't know if you remember these cats. Well, you know Peyton Manning, but Ryan Leaf was picked number 2 overall to the San Diego Chargers at the time. And clearly, he was horrible. He was a major bust. You had Eli Manning with Phillip Rivers. You know what I mean? Like, so you always get these 2 quarterbacks that be at the top of the draft. Let's just use a few. You get these quarterbacks at the top of the draft, and somebody's going to pick right and somebody's going to pick wrong, right? Mm-hmm. And careers is on the line. When I say careers on the line, careers is on the line. But here's what everybody misses. It doesn't matter who you take. You have to build around them. If you don't got a legitimate GM and a great head coach with a great system that's going to fit that young man's skill set, you're going to fail. So all of them can play football. We can see that. Mm-hmm. CJ Stroud can play football. Young can play. They can play, bro. They good. Mm-hmm. But they got to have people that's going to build around them to their skill set. And if you're not going to invest in them and you're not going to make trades and make the right strategic moves to put this team in position to win championships, go long-term to help that young man progress, then you're just going to watch the talent out there. You know what I mean? It looked good for a game or two, show you some highlights or two, and he's going to get crushed eventually, and then he'll get hurt, and then his career is washed. That's it. It happens all the time. So it really doesn't matter what the Carolina Panthers does as far as the pick. I believe no matter if they pick C.J. Stroud or if they pick Young, doesn't matter. Bryce Young, it doesn't matter. What they got to do is build around the skill set. Not necessarily just build the team. Build around that young man's skill set. Give him the players that he needs to be successful. And if they don't do that, they're going to be washed. And in my opinion, the Carolina Panthers, I don't have the confidence in them like that as an organization. So whoever goes there is going to be a major bust. So if they get the number 1 pick, look out for a major bust.
I mean, look, I would say this, and this is my theory on it. You see, upside or safe, right? Do you want to bank on the upside or do you want to play it safe? And I think when you're the Panthers and you are in their position, you traded up a lot of assets to move up. You traded a lot. You traded the form. Oh, yeah. The Bears won that trade. And you got up there to get the ace card for Frank Wright, who, by the way, finally gets an ace card because he was dealt a lot of bad hands, right? And now he gets to have his quarterback. And I think for me, when you do make that move, does it play a factor in how you view the quarterbacks? Like, do I want to go for the upside or do I want to play it safe because I traded all the assets to get here? And I think for me, that's a very interesting debate because you could reflect back to the 2017 draft. That was a very monumental draft, in my opinion, as far as the quarterbacks that were there. You had Patrick Mahomes, you had Deshaun Watson, you had Mitch Trubisky. Yep. And the Bears, they played it safe. Well, at the time, they thought it was safe, right? We all know what Mitch Trubisky is. And that's a bust, okay? We know that right now. But at the time, they thought it was playing it safe. And they passed up on Mahomes and Deshaun Watson. Mahomes ended up being a great quarterback, right? You got to call him great. And won a Super Bowl, won multiple Super Bowls. And they missed out on the upside there, right? And a lot of teams in the NFL have saw that mistake, and it has shifted the way how teams look at film and the skill sets that they want to acquire. with high picks like that. But on the flip side, it has come with failed mistakes. Like, for example, the Jets and Zach Wilson. Oh, I see him scramble, improvise, go deep, 60 yards. He got to be the next Patrick Mahomes. Upside is through the roof.
Mm-hmm.
But then you get a bust. And you didn't play it safe by keeping Sam Darnold and building around him.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then you get it with Kyler Murray, injury prone. And a lot of people compare Kyler Murray to Bryce Young from a physical attributes perspective.
Yep.
But, I think for me, you can compare them from a physical perspective. But I think for me, Kyler Murray more explosive as a runner, but I trust him more outside of the pocket than in the pocket. Like Kyler Murray's a guy who has to be on a move to throw the ball. And that's the difference there. As far as Bryce Young, I think he reminds me more so of Drew Brees. I think so. His football intelligence makes up for his lack of physical attributes, right? The attention to detail, the ability to read through progression. I think he has that. Drew Brees wasn't the physical specimen now. He didn't have the strongest arm, right? But he was able to be in a system and Sean Payton that craft the offense to fit his skill sets. If we subtract him off that team, is Drew Brees a Hall of Famer? Does he win a Super Bowl? Look at Russell Wilson, same thing, right? He went to the right situation under Pete Carroll, won a Super Bowl. Look where he at in Denver right now, man. So situations matter. Scheme matters, right? And I think if you want to bank on the upside of Bryce Young, don't let the height scare you, right? Just know that you have to tailor the team to fit his skill set. And if you do, I'm pretty sure you're getting a hell of a football player. And that's my answer.
I want to say anytime a team is willing to draft a quarterback number one or any player number one, of course, it's going to be a gamble. There's no certified number one pick, especially in this draft. There's no certified number one.
Yep.
And I think when you're looking at a quarterback in this particular draft, you're not looking at the skill set. You can see all of their best games or their best highlights. You're looking at the character. I'm going to quote Wolf of Wall Street real quick. Judge me by my losers and not by my winners because I have so few. And that's something that when you look at Bryce Young, you look at that locker room, who coached him, he's a guy who's about high character, a guy who's about team, wins. That is something that you have to judge and see. You have to see what he does when he's facing adversity. You have to see how he comes back from seeing difficult defenses and not getting his way on offense. You have to see what his body language is because you're going into a situation where you're going to be seeing a lot of situations that are not going to go your way. On a team at number one, meaning you're going to a team that arguably had the worst record or in a worst possible scenario. So how could you combat that? How can you uplift the team, build morale in the locker room? And I said this since day one. That's why I go with Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, physical dominant guy, physically dominant. Anthony Richardson, physically dominant. You can see the athletic capabilities of both those guys, but Bryce Young brings a different component, which is attitude. Winner's attitude, winning mentality, building a locker room. I can't say the word. I was trying to say the word. It didn't work out for me. Building the locker room. So I say that to say that's why you go Bryce Young, because you're going for a guy who is a leader in the locker room, a man amongst boys in the locker room. Not saying people, not calling the team boys, but you know what I mean. He's going to be the vocal guy on that team. That's why you draft him at number one. He's a top talent. He's a top 3 quarterback in the draft. He's talented. That's what you're going for. But then when you look outside of all of that, you have to look at character. Who has the guy that's going to build up this locker room? Who's going to push the troops to win us games in a grinded out game? Right. That's Bryce Young. That's who you go for. Because skill set, reading the defense at the NFL level comes with reps. He needs the reps in the NFL. Each quarterback needs the reps to do that in the NFL. Right. Nobody's going to come straight out of college and just start ripping everybody. You got to read the NFL defense. He's going to do that. He has the morale. He has the locker room. He's going to be able to get the locker room on his side. That's why you draft him number one. Is it a gamble? Of course. Is it a mistake? I'm not going to call it a mistake. It's a gamble. You could gamble with Richardson. You could gamble with Stroud. They're all gambles. Everyone has pros and cons. Nobody's perfect amongst the boards. Leel made a great point about Zach Wilson, about Kyler Murray. Their tape looks amazing. It's about what happened when they faced adversity. How did they combat that? How did the teammates rally around that. Bryce Young got rallied around his teammates. People talk highly about this kid. He brings other people to the best of their game. That is what you want. That's why you bring him in.
Listen, really quick. Everything you said is legit, but the situation is very unique because can the Carolina Panthers protect this man? And with his physical attributes being a question, can he take a pounding? Because if you can't protect him, he could have the greatest, he could have great team camaraderie, he could be the great leader, he could be the great this. Can you protect him? Because if you can't protect him, you might want to go with a stronger physique because that's what it's really about, right? Because at the end of the day, this dude is what, 6 feet, 185, 190 pounds?
I think he's 5'10". I don't even think he's 6 feet. He's 5'10".
5'10". Like he gets hit hard. It's good night. Kyler Murray, at least he's a little stocky though. You know what I mean? Like he got a little stocky. He still gets injured from time to time. Quarterbacks get hit hard here, man. And I don't know if the Carolina Panthers could protect this man. Because if they're going to invest heavy in the offensive line and go heavy offensively to put the weapons around him, etc., yeah, probably the better pick. But if they can't protect him, we ain't going to see what he's going to be able to be because he's going to be laying on his back looking at the sun.
I mean, they got to protect him, of course, but he has to protect himself. And I think when you talk about guys with that skill set of being able to be mobile, they have to protect themselves by sliding and not taking certain hits. And I think what I like about Bryce Young is I see the calculation of when to create outside the structure of the play and when to slide and when to go out of bounds and when to not try to be a hero. And if he has those tools, because you can tell Cam Newton, who is, a specimen of an athlete, to slide, but if he doesn't slide, he's going to get hurt regardless because he's out of the pocket. It's fool's goals. It's anybody's goal. It's headhunting season out there, right? Absolutely. So it could be the same thing for Bryce Young, but if he's smart and calculated, he can beat you in the pocket. He could, improvise out and be calculated with his approach. I think he'd be just fine. And I think, too, my last point, and I'm done, is when you talk about pocket passes, right? Because C.J. Stroud is a pocket passer. And he's very good. He's a very good pocket passer. Like, he's accurate, strong arm, all that. But he's a pocket passer. And I remember, because you made this statement. I remember everything. There's nothing you can say that I don't remember. I remember you said a statement a long time ago, right, that game managers are going to be extinct in the NFL.
Yeah.
I remember that came out your mouth.
Absolutely.
Right? And, it's not a bad take at all. You have a lot of talented guys out there, especially in the AFC, all the quarterbacks, Deshaun Watson. I mean, the list goes on, right? And I lied. I'm not done. I have one more take behind this, but then I'm done officially, right? And I see that. But now that Tom Brady retired, Ben Roethlisberger retired, Drew Brees retired, Eli Manning retired, you could literally look at the pocket passes in the NFL and call them game managers. Like, literally, what pocket passes that you know of in the NFL that you can name off the rip who you won't classify as a game manager? You see? And that's the shift that we are seeing is in today's NFL, the pocket passer is the game manager. It's not the Tom Brady's of the world no more. Maybe Joe Burrow. I answer my own question, Joe Burrow. Right, but he's mobile. Like we saw him improvise.
Yeah,
he's able to get out the pocket.
He's
right?
more athletic than yes, absolutely.
Exactly. That he gets credit for. Yep. So, you have to move. And I don't think CJ Stroud is that guy that you can trust giving you that ability to create outside of the structure of the play on a consistent basis.
No, great point.
My last point, and then I'm done, right? Let's look at the last 15 quarterbacks taking number one. Right, we're gonna go from 02 all the way to present day. So 02 Derek Carr, game manager. Okay.
Yeah.
03 Carson Palmer, he made an NFC Championship game manager. 04 Eli Manning won a Super Bowl. I ain't gonna slide him. I think he was overrated, but he won a Super Bowl, 2 Super Bowls. I give him slack, right?
Definitely.
Alex Smith, the definition of a game manager is Alex Smith.
Game manager.
Right? This list for some reason skipped 06. I'm guessing the world ended in 06 and came back in 07. I don't see 06 here. So I don't remember 06 at the top of my head. Let's go to 07. Jamarcus Russell. Bust. Okay.
Major.
09. Matthew Stafford won a Super Bowl, right? 10. Sam Bradford. Bust. Right? Cam Newton got to Super Bowl, right? Career ended early though. Andrew Luck, 12. Career ended early though. 15, right? They're skipping 13 and 14. I don't know what's going on here, but 15, Jameis Winston, bust. Right? Jared Goff, 16. You said?
Those are number 1 picks, quarterback picks?
Those are number 1 picks, former number 1 picks.
Okay.
Number 16, Jared Goff. Had a good year last year. I'll give him credit for that.
Went to a Super Bowl.
Okay, bust. All right, Super Bowl, yeah, true. But you know what? Bust, okay? I ain't gonna call him a bust. But then again, he was the number 1 pick. Bust, right? 18, right? Let's go to Baker Mayfield. With pleasure. Bust, right?
Major
number 19, bust. Okay? Number 19, Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray, you know I fought hard for you, man. When Zach don't like you on this show, I fought hard for you. But I got to keep it real. Bust, right? 19, right? 20, Joe Burrow. You know, arguably best quarterback in the league, right? 21, Trevor Lawrence. Bust, April Fool's Day, right? He's not a bust. That's my guy, Trevor Lawrence, right? He's one of the best in the league, right? So basically, what I get out of reading those 15 quarterbacks is you're going to get busts. You're going to get guys, prospects that you think is elite. There's going to be busts. And you're going to have some great ones in there. Yep. So we'll see what Bryce Young is when he goes to the Panthers number 1, because I think it's invitable.
Yep.
Please like and subscribe for all the up-to-date content. You've been slinging shows left and right, slinging content left and right. Please don't miss anything. If you do, like, subscribe, leave a comment, or leave a question, something you may want to answer, something you may have. All ideas are great ideas. Nothing's a dumb question.